Florida State against the Big 12. Would the Noles dominate? Welcome to the Voice of College Football. Best discussion, debate, and analysis. Based on what? Your participation. Leave those comments down below. Please like the video and subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football. All right, Florida State Big 12, it's rumored. We're not discussing that right here. Please check out the live stream we posted over the weekend talking Florida State football to the Big 12. Of course, they're kicking and screaming their way out of the ACC and hope to get to the Big 10 or the SEC, but there are rumors. There is some speculation out there. We have our sources. We shall see what happens maybe here in the next couple weeks concerning Florida State to the Big 12. If and when it does happen, if it does happen, let's look at Florida State's history first against the Big 12 and then the Noles' quest to dominate their new league, if that so happens, of course. Florida State's last two outings against the Big 12 did not fare well. They were down in 2019, but they at least made a bowl game. They lost the Sun Bowl to an Arizona State team that finished 8-5, 20-14. Willie Taggart, the Florida State head coach, of course. These other games under Jimbo Fisher, a loss. That was an upset in the Peach Bowl against Houston. New Year's Six game against that Ed Oliver team that went 13-1. The rest in this 21st century, all wins for Florida State against current Big 12 teams. They've got 4 games that they played against Oklahoma when the Sooners were in the Big 12 and did not play Texas. Now, that's a game we should see sometime, Texas and Florida State. Can't remember them ever playing, certainly not in my time being a football fan. FSU and Oklahoma State in a season opener in Dallas. Noles won at 37-31 in 2014. Of course, that team went undefeated into the playoff in 2010 and 2009. A couple games against BYU. Easy FSU wins against a team that just joined the Big 12 in 2023. Knocked off a good BYU team, 11-2 team, 54-28. And also played a Big 12 team again in the Gator Bowl and 2 matchups against West Virginia in the Gator Bowl in the span of just 6 seasons. One was Bobby Bowden's final game, and of course he rode off victoriously. They defeated the Mountaineers 33-21 and 30-18, ironically both games by 12 points. Both West Virginia teams lost 4 games. Also, don't remember these games against Colorado. The Buffs were not good. Noles rolled 39-21, 16-6. They also had a game in 2003 that Florida State won by 40. They played a game on August 24th, so keep in mind they're playing Georgia Tech as the tied for earliest game ever for Florida State football in Dublin, of course. But they also played on the 24th of August against Iowa State in the Eddie Robinson Classic and won a pretty good ball game, 38-31. Kind of remember that one. And then also the Pigskin Classic against BYU. Who would have thought Florida State and BYU played 3 times in the course of 10 years, and Florida State won that game 29-3. So they had rolled off 10 consecutive wins, lost the last 2 against Big 12 teams to go to 10-2 in this series. Those Florida State teams were 108-50, so they were decidedly better. So them going 10-2 against teams that were 92-62 is pretty substantial and favors Florida State rather well. They did not play Utah. They did not play Kansas State, 2 of the better schools that they could have played during these years. And again, 3 times against BYU, 3 times against Colorado out of those 12 matchups that they outscored their opponents by 161 points, 13.4 points per game in Florida State's favor. So what does all that mean? Well, really not that much, but it's fun to look at. At least I have fun looking back at a particular school against their proposed opponents going forward as rivals in a new conference. What it does mean, though, is Florida State football has been elite most of the time since the late 70s. And Florida State football is right now elite under Mike Norvell. They would enter the Big 12 as the best program. We could argue Clemson. Clemson has been better than Florida State as recently as 2020, of course. 2021, 2022 even. It's just been these last couple seasons that Florida State has been better. So they would be the 2 best teams in the conference as things stand right now. Of course, Utah would be a challenge. And that Kansas State, Oklahoma State, those 2 in particular, TCU, as we saw a couple years ago, jumped up and under Gary Patterson were extremely good. So not saying that there would not be challenges in the Big 12 for Florida State, but I'm saying if Florida State is Florida State, And we've seen that they can do it with multiple coaches. It's just not one coach. We don't know with Clemson and Dabo Swinney. Sure, they've been good in the past, but Florida State's basically the one guy. He was really good for a long, long time, Mr. Bowden. And then after that, Jimbo got it done, and now we see Mike Norvell as well. Florida State, resources, talent, recruiting, everything involved, would be the premier program in the conference right now. Again, Clemson would have a severe argument, so Clemson fans don't jump on me. I think they're kind of like that right now. Appreciate you being here at the Voice of College Football. Your thoughts about Florida State in the Big 12, not necessarily whether it will happen. We're going to continue to address that situation and provide our thoughts concerning that. And as we mentioned in the previous video, check it out, please, when we talked about the new configuration possibilities of the Big 12, is that there are some rumblings out there, and maybe some of them are significant. We don't know. We've got our sources, other people have their sources, and let's keep in mind that nobody knows right now what's going to happen. What's good about having sources is that they give us good indicators about what's going to happen, and they certainly eliminate other speculation that's out there. Appreciate you being here at the Voice of College Football. Size up Clemson and Big 12. We're going to do that next right here at the Voice of College Football.